Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm here once again with another moment of truth. I like to share little peeks into my life and who I am and things that have happened in my past. And today I want to share something that I'm not proud of at all. But I feel like it could help someone, so I'm going to share. But today I want to talk about how I used to be a thief. I used to steal quite a bit, all the time. Actually, yeah. And this was, I would say, from my late teenage years until my late 20s. So I would say, though, that this was done pretty much out of survival. As you guys know, you've heard my other videos, and I've told you about how I've had issues with lack mentality and I've been homeless. So this is like part of the theme that I've had for this lifetime, trying to overcome all of that. And so this ties into that. And there were times in my life where I didn't have things that I needed, essential things. And I would say poverty, living, in poverty to some extent, just not having my basic needs met. And so I resorted to taking the things that I needed and doing whatever I had to do to get them, which for me was stealing. So a lot of the times, I would go into a store if I needed something, and, I would take it. I would be terrified out of my mind. But I would say that most of the times those things were food, and then sometimes, essential items that, we all need, day-to-day things. But it was definitely done out of survival. Not that that makes it right, because, wrong is wrong. But, I did it. And I felt like at the time I was doing what I had to do to survive. And it's sad. And I remember being in those moments saying, only if I didn't have to do this. I never wanted to do it. There's some people who go out and steal for kicks, and it's a rush, and they're excited about it, and it's a game. But for me, it was never like that. I never wanted to do it. I always felt bad, and I always felt like something bad is going to happen. If I keep doing this, something bad is going to happen one day. And I continued, and there was a little time frame where I really felt like something bad's going to happen, to the extent where I just really stopped, regardless of the need, of the things that I needed. But then I continued, and that feeling that I felt was right. It was right. It was the universe. Now I know, like, that feeling was the universe saying, okay, like, I'm giving you an opportunity to stop. And if you don't, I'm going to have to, tap that hand. I've spoke about that before. And so eventually I did, I didn't stop. And eventually, something bad did happen. And I ended up spending time in jail. Now I didn't, I wasn't there like consecutively, but I did what was called weekend time. So I had to go there on the weekends, like Friday to Sunday, and I'd stay. And I did like quite a few of those. And it was torture. It was horrible. But it took that for me to learn my lesson. Because, that happened, and I was like, okay, like I'm never going through that again. I'm never going to experience that again. But knowing everything that I know now, I'm like, I knowing how energy works and karma, and, when you're indulging in things that you really shouldn't be doing. I don't like to say right or wrong, but you're indulging in doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and you shouldn't be doing them. And, even though they may not be harming anyone, I mean, I guess you could say that me stealing from a store or something like that is harming someone. I mean, it's not my property, it's someone else's. But I used to look at it like, well, I'm not doing anything to, like, harm anyone in this moment, physically or whatever. But regardless, I'm doing something that I knew that I shouldn't have been doing. And if I knew that, and then I knew that there were going to be some consequences for it. And people tend to think that because they're not doing something to harm anyone, and they're doing something out of the means of survival, and they have to do this. They feel like they have to do it in those moments. And I honestly feel like I had to. And then looking back, I really still feel like, okay, well, if I didn't steal, then I probably would have went hungry a lot of days. But the fact remains that the way energy works is that energy will come back to you. That the universe is always watching. So that is why karma came back to me in the form of me having to serve that jail time, those weekend time. And so it's just important for us to really stop and think about the things that we do. If you have a feeling that something that you're doing is not right, then it probably isn't. And if you're feeling like that, then more than likely at some point something is going to come back to you. Some type of energy is going to come back to you that you don't like. If that felt wrong to you, then that same type of energy in some form is going to come back to you, because it's not about karma. It's not about punishment. It's just a balance of the energies. If you're doing wonderful, amazing, positive things, then wonderful, amazing, positive energies are going to come back to you. But if you're doing negative, low vibrational things, then that type of energy is going to come back to you. So, I learned my lesson, and now, I wish that I knew how that all works, back then. Things would have turned out a lot different, but obviously, I had to experience that for a reason. And, like I said, I wouldn't take anything back about my whole life, because I learned so much. But yeah, I was a thief. Not proud of it, but I learned my lesson, and hopefully this story helps someone who may be struggling with something at the moment, and they're kind of feeling like they maybe shouldn't be doing it, but they feel like they have to. I just want to send a message to you that if you feel that way, stop, because sometimes the universe will give you a moment to stop. It'll give you an opportunity to get it together, and then when you don't, it'll come in, real hard, real harsh, real fast, and you're not gonna like that. So if you're doing something you probably shouldn't be doing, and you have an opportunity to stop on your own, please stop on your own before something happens that you really just can't take back, that you're going to be so sorry about. You're going to be devastated about it. So that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video.